Thank you, Mr. Lowy, for your very generous introduction. My mother would have been thrilled if she were in the audience. You heard a very concise but a very compelling synthesis of what the pedigree of research as initiated by Professor Perrin van Brunnemark, applied from the 70s on, replicated by my university starting in the 70s, and then launching into a methodology with rigor and scientific robustness which has ushered in a revolution in the therapy of the partially and the completely dental patient. The endeavour that was started back then has matured and evolved in different directions. But it now has reached a point where it deserves a cohesion of purpose and a cohesion of commitment, which can only come about as the result of Nobel Barker permitting and encouraging and indeed financing a foundation for oral rehabilitation. Let me share with you some of these ideas which underscore this commitment and our profound hope and conviction that this is going to make an extraordinary difference to the way patients are looked after even better in the future. This is a foundation which is committed to science, obviously, because its foundations have been the scientific purpose, the scientific mission. It is committed to education, because education is the journey which we clinical teachers undertake and commit ourselves to in order to spread the word and bring more of the goodwill and the knowledge base to our colleagues in the profession and of course to patients. And finally, a commitment to humanity, because being very scientifically entrenched and being very educationally skilled, unless it is reconciled with a humanitarian commitment, it usurps the whole notion of professionalism. And this is what the Foundation is seeking to bring about. We are an international effort, an international initiative to promote and improve oral health and humanitarian leadership, and the emphasis is at a global level, not only at national levels in countries which are privileged to be at advanced state of education and industrial development. Our mission is to achieve effective worldwide patient care through scholarship and humanitarian engagement. Let me elaborate upon that. As far as education is concerned, our remit is to nurture, expand and promote professional education through enhanced learning, to create leadership opportunities for young professionals, particularly for women who are grossly underrepresented in terms of leadership, both in this field and in the administration educationally of it. In terms of science, our remit is to broaden the skill base and establish optimal treatment protocols that become the reference in the profession. Actually, they're already there. We're simply seeking to simplify them, enable them to be more easily acceptable for patients, and to be done in a way that manipulates tissues to ensure quicker healing results. And then finally, last but not least, for humanity, to support, initiate and reward humanitarian engagements and build an international network of leading professionals who share a commitment to improving patients' life quality. Now, all of this sounds very nice and very rhetorical, obviously, and I'm sure you've heard these sorts of claims before. But I think what we have going for us here is not only the pedigree of science, which is longer than that anything that can be claimed by any other group seeking to promote similar endeavors, but we have broken this down into specific councils with very specific remits for their undertaking over the years in order to build and to disseminate. We have an educational council which will embark upon a greater effort to bring about the impact of symposia and workshops, study clubs, online learning, university and professional networks. And I hasten to point out so many of these have already been enforced over the years, but we'll reinforce them and we'll expand them. The Scientific Advisory Council will bring about treatment guidelines and checklists which underscore the whole notion not only of efficacy but also of safety and effectiveness for every procedure that we prescribe for our patients. And consensus studies and information resource for the public which will be available online so that not only will our colleagues learn from them, but that the public can easily tap into this resource and be completely informed. Emerging Leader Council. Here again, we're looking into the future. So many young dentists today whose exposure to rehabilitation and implant therapy in particular in university is inadequate. The curricula in dentistry have been so overloaded with so many new things that implant dentistry still occupies a very minor part of this program. So we want to enable these young graduates to very quickly become fully cognizant of what is available to them and proficient professionally. And then, of course, scholarly initiatives to engage the future generations, special training programs, a special council which is committed exclusively towards recognizing, recruiting young individuals from around the world, pooling their skills, advancing their know-how, their knowledge base, and then, of course, relying upon them for future dissemination of the information. And then the Administrative Council, of course, which governs the organization and ensures that we undertake humanitarian initiatives. We have selected a very impressive group of highly distinguished clinical scholars. I will linger on that picture because I'm sure you will notice right away that in spite of our claim and our strong commitment to female leadership, you will recognize there's only one in the group. That underscores the remarkable lack of availability of senior women clinical scholars that we've had to deal with. We seek to rectify this. This is our commitment not only to society, but certainly to the profession. And in New York, in this global symposium, which we will be holding in the forthcoming June, we're also going to have our first humanitarian award ceremony, where instead of identifying an organization, so many organizations, charitable organizations around the world need money in order to bring about the changes that they're committed to. But we are seeking to recognize individuals whose history of courage, commitment, and comprehensive skills reflect what Brannemark started, what all the chain reaction was elicited by different people around the world to bring the science and the clinical application of this field to where it is today. We will select individuals, one particular individual this June, who personifies these qualities, not only as a reward for the individual, but also to send a profound message to our colleagues in the field that their courage, their commitment, the comprehensive skills that they offer can be applied on a pro bono basis to many deserving people around the world. I thank you for the opportunity to share some of our commitments with you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have at this stage.